Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So, what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So, as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So, that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Excellent.
So glad we could connect and when we before we dive into your topic, we're going to just let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you got going on.
Okay. I really appreciate you taking the time to do a podcast with me. I remember our last interview went pretty good. So this is kind of new for
Mhm.
me doing an interview without visual.
Yes.
Exactly. So, for the people watching, my name is Bryce Tubbs. I work with
Mhm.
psychotherapists and life coaches to help them
Mhm.
get more clients for their business.
Mhm.
Where do you want me to start with the bio? Just go back to the beginning of how I got into marketing, or
Yeah, just whatever you feel led to share, that's fine. Just give us a feel for who you are and what you got going on.
excellent. So I've been doing digital marketing for about 9 years. So I initially
Mhm.
started, with my own business in marketing about 4.5 years ago. I started
Mhm.
working with psychotherapists in my local area. You know,
Mhm.
um, there's a local psychotherapy guild up the street from where I live. It's probably about 20 psychotherapists in one location. So I just happened
Mm.
to have a mutual friend. The person said the therapist was looking for some help. So I just said, hey, cool, send me your information. We got in contact. At first,
Mhm.
it started with me just building a website for her. And then it kind of progressed to now you have a website. Now you need to get people to come to the website. Okay, cool. So now you're getting people to come to the website. Now we got to develop a way for you to be able to do this more frequently without using advertisements.
Mm.
And lo and behold, that first client went well. We're still friends to this day. She's still using the same systems that we built, I think it was about 4.5 years ago, and never looked back from there.
Mhm.
But since she was in a guild and there's about 20 other psychotherapists, the first thing I did was, hey, went to the next door one, say, I'm doing this for Wendy. It's going pretty well. I don't know exactly if it's going to work for you, but if you want, we
Mhm.
can, give it a go. It worked a similar way for that person. His name's Glenn. And I just went from
Mhm.
door to door to door to door.
Awesome.
They didn't all say yes, but for the most part, the most of them did.
Yeah. I love that whole thing of, dealing with other people's credibility and the fact that it kind of paved the way for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. You
And I
know,
love the fact how you were able to maneuver, um, starting out with one thing and it growing to something else.
yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Now, so where are you located? Where is
I'm located in a city called Ann Arbor. It's in Michigan. It's about 30 minutes away from Detroit, Michigan, where all the auto companies
Mhm.
are. Yeah,
Mhm. Awesome. Okay. So that is great. So now you just got into that thing led to another, which led to another, and so you kind of your niche was kind of created for you based on your first client.
yeah. I tried a
Mhm.
bunch of other niches that were like similar, but for some reason my methods really work for service-based businesses. So
Mhm.
it's hard for me to do a jewelry store and get people to buy jewelry, but it's really good for me to find a way to let's say for example you're a life coach. It's very easy for
Mhm.
me to introduce you to a group of people, show you how to connect, and then get them to want to do consultations with you.
Mm. Yeah. That's awesome. So I really like the fact that you know your niche, so you've got clarity about your niche based on, I'm sure you had some struggles, right? At some point. So what are kind of like the signs that people might have to kind of let them know that, they might want to consider it being a niche issue as opposed to something else when it comes to marketing?
Okay, actually, that's what I was had in mind. So,
Mhm.
I think that this video, a cool maybe route to go is called finding your people.
Mm. Mhm.
Because oftentimes when let's go for like a life coach, just because it's easier.
Okay.
There's a couple different ways you can go. A lot of people want to go, I just want to help every single person in the world because I just want to help people.
Mhm.
And when you start doing that, it's very hard to connect deeply with any one group of people
Mm.
because everybody has slightly different problems. Even people who have, on the surface level, seemingly similar problems,
Mhm.
they could be caused by different things.
Right.
So at least when you're starting out, it's easier to try and connect with a group of people who are very similar to yourself.
Mm.
So I believe for you, a lot of moms connect with you, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're America's
Mhm.
super mom. You do something that not a lot of, probably what, 99% of America can do.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So that is a great point to bring up because, now for somebody who is, you had the opportunity to kind of evolve with your business. So now you have a lot of people where their industries may be disrupted in some manner. So let's say, like, for example, we're doing this audio and you're used to doing video. So, as a lot of us are kind of transitioning to a different state of normal, what advice would you give people to be mindful of how you can evolve, and what are some steps to help you make that transition smoothly?
Okay. Um, are we talking specifically for someone who's like a therapist or a life coach? Or are we talking about someone who's in a brick and mortar situation?
Let's talk about brick and mortar because that's good. Because some of these
Okay.
people, they really are just
Yeah,
disrupting.
there.
Mhm.
Okay. So, the one thing that I really like to do is always try and stay within my core competency. So let's say that
Mhm.
you're a therapist who's used to operating in a brick and mortar style where you have to see clients face to face.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you're taking on insurance, it's a little bit hard to do the method that I'm going to talk about now, which is
Mhm.
why I help my clients get private pay clients. That means that
Mm.
they don't have to talk to insurance and ask for permission for a lot of the different things. So
Mm.
when they're getting private pay clients, they can operate more like a life coach. How a life coach,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. Like how a life coach can see people using Zoom. A life coach can, offer a group of sessions at once. Um,
Mm.
However, for the therapist, they have to stay inside of their individual states. So that's the biggest difference.
Okay.
But I really, as scary as this time is for a lot of people, I think it's a brilliant opportunity for the therapy industry and for the life coaching industry to kind of evolve.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
because you can help so many more people. Like even using Zoom,
Mhm.
there's a feature where you can have multiple people on the same time. So you just combine all of your
Mm.
client spots. Say you have 10 clients, you have them all
Mhm.
come to a group session, and now you just basically did 10 sessions in one. You fostered a sense
Right.
of community. People are going to
Mhm.
stay with you longer,
Mhm.
and it's really going to free up your time because now if you have 10 clients, right, and you have one
Mhm.
spot or one we'll call them a cohort for this
Mhm.
section. Now you can create a
Mhm.
second cohort. And before where you're spending
Mm.
10 hours, now you're only spending 2 hours.
Mhm.
And it just starts to scale and scale and scale. And
Mhm.
there's a couple different ways you can go with that because oftentimes when people start grouping together, um, some people say you can lower your price if you really need to because now you would be getting
Mhm.
10 times the regular hourly rates.
Mhm.
However, I like to actually raise the price at that moment by a little bit.
Mm.
Right now
Okay.
is a little bit scary because of the coronavirus, so you could do like payment plans, but
Mhm.
people are spending money.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah, and that's good. And they're prioritizing for what they're spending money on.
yeah.
So if you are something that's a priority, there's no need to go around. That's why I was on an interview last week, and yes, the coronavirus, but I can't go to the grocery store and say, hey, I need my groceries for free because it's a virus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah.
we,
And plus
so
we're
we have
we're
to
in a
be.
recession industry. Like
Mhm.
as far as like coaching and therapy, when
Mhm.
people are upset, they need someone to talk to.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, it is really now how do you handle like, that group session is good to create that community, but people that feel like, it is more private,
Mhm.
some of the things that they're dealing with or, feeling like they need that confidence, one on one.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of position yourself for that?
You
Or
know,
would you recommend them to do it?
it's really interesting because
Mhm.
depending on the issue, right? For example, I work with a lady. Her name is Gina. She is a
Mhm.
trauma coach, so she handles
Mhm.
women or works with women who have been either abused sexually or different things.
Mhm.
And on it's oftentimes hard to gauge until you've actually tried it with your particular client. Like, yes,
Mm.
there's gonna be a lot that won't, but
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot that will really love having a community. Like but to answer your question,
Mhm.
for the ones that want to go individual, okay, cool. So now you just do it over Zoom, and you
Mm.
know, if you were used to meeting a client in person, but now you have to
Mhm.
do it online, it's a little bit of a
Mhm.
transition for them probably, but they might actually like it more because they can be in their comfy clothes, they can be in their favorite
Mhm.
couch, they can be wherever they want in the car. Doesn't really matter to them, and it's a better experience
Mhm.
actually.
Mhm. I really love Zoom. I think it's so good because what I found with my clients is that they do feel more comfortable because they don't have to be somewhere thinking somebody's listening to what they're saying, overhearing the conversation, at another
Mhm.
table or
Yeah.
that you still kind of have those inhibitions or them wondering, are they wondering why I'm coming and having lunch with you? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
If they each of you know different titles and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It actually opens it up for more for a more intimate conversation. I mean, because like even with like therapy, right? They talk about like the stigma of going to therapy into a therapist's office,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So it's more private because you never have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about being judged. It's
Mhm.
it's it's really really great. I mean, especially because now, right? So let's say that people who would be your potential clients, generally, if they would be working or they would be, doing all these different things, now they're in front of their phones and their tablets and their computers, and it's almost like a captive audience, and you're going to be the only people who are
Mm.
positive.
Mhm. Mhm. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even considered that. And I love the element of, especially now, I think a community is important because, we're isolated in our homes.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we're thinking about our family and yeah, you can watch TV and movies, but you feel so much more distance away from those things rather than
Hmm.
closer.
Hmm.
So if you're able to kind of simulate that community through group coaching and ways that they can even connect with each other outside of a coaching session you know
I love that you said the word community. So one thing I work with my clients to do is build like community. So like, for lack of a better term, let's imagine if there are 1,000 people who are struggling with anxiety at this very moment.
mhm
As a therapist, our job is to be able to, if your specialty is helping people manage their anxiety, your job now becomes, how do I get in front of these thousands of people? How do I give them a common space to be able to communicate with each other and build friendships? So
mhm
now they start talking continuously, 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 and they have a couple things in common. One, they're struggling with anxiety. Two, they have friendships.
mhm
Three, you're the expert in the group. And four, it's your group. So this is
mm
before you even start working with them. Now you're providing value for free. You have what is an underlying value of, you connected them to, and gave them more friends, and
mm
it's crazy. Like, when and plus you don't even have to be talking to them anymore because now they're talking amongst each other. You just come in for 5-10 minutes a
mm
day, do a video, or, as some of us like to do, longer webinars or workshops, and they sign up with you.
mhm mm yeah, this is good. So now, do you do this, these are done through Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that?
For me, I like to use LinkedIn only because I have, like, I think it's like 12,000 followers on LinkedIn who are all like life
mhm
coaches and psychotherapists. But
mhm
if I was a life coach, I would probably use Facebook only because it gives more options. Like, inside of Facebook
mm
groups, you can highlight certain phrases. So if someone says the word like help or help me
mhm
solve, how do I? It immediately will send a notification to your phone, as the person who is like the admin of the
mm
group. And then, hey, oh, you need help? Oh, nice. Would you like to, talk about it? And then,
mm
yeah. And
And that's so insightful. Never knew because I don't have any groups. I'm in groups,
mhm.
but I haven't managed one. So how challenging is it to, let's take LinkedIn since that's what you do have.
Mhm.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm trying to do my job. I don't have time for a group." What is the benefit of, just posting and creating organic content on your on your own as opposed to having a group?
Mm. Okay, so there are a couple of different ways, right? I don't like to look at
Mhm.
anything as in like by themselves because everything has a purpose, right? It's kind of
Mhm. Mhm.
like steps. So organic content, if you're not doing that, you're probably missing out. Whether it's, writing written posts, whether it's making videos,
Mhm.
podcasts, you have to be able to do it, especially in this day and age.
Mhm.
If you're going to make, your money online, or if you're going to start helping people online, you got to be online.
Mhm.
If you were just seeing people in person, it's not necessarily like 100% you need to do it because you can go to networking events and different things like that. But if you want to be able to help a large amount of people, if you want to be able
Mhm.
to, get clients faster and more consistently, then you have to be posting organic content. But the organic content is very, very tricky if you don't know exactly what you're doing.
Mm. Okay.
Because, for example, when you're making content, do you know who you're speaking to, correct?
Right.
No, there's a lot of people who don't know
This is true.
that. I mean, I don't know if you always knew exactly who you were speaking to, but like, at least when I first started, it was very tricky to know exactly, how to connect with people. Um,
Mhm.
relationship building has always been my biggest weakness. Just growing up, always having to
Mm.
go to different schools, being on the outside, not knowing, the names of celebrities until I was probably like a freshman in college. Like just different things like
Mm.
that. However, there are a couple ways that you can go and find your people organically, right? You can either go and
Mhm.
choose a group of people, like say you want to deal with people who have like panic. You can really become a person who understands them, learn their language patterns, learn exactly what their needs and their wants and desires are, and start working with them like that. That's a little bit more challenging, at least in my experience, than if you went and found someone who you're already similar to.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I mean, when you're able to do that, right? If you know exactly, because you are that person. Like, let's say that you struggled with anxiety in the past, not you personally, but just for example's sake,
Mhm.
Susie has struggled
Mhm.
with anxiety. Susie then goes and conquers her anxiety, becomes a life coach, and then turns around and helps people who have anxiety because she knows exactly what they're going through. She speaks their language. She was them. She knows their exact ideal situation. She's living their, ideal life. She's thriving.
Mhm.
Now Susie can go make a million videos and not even have to worry about whether or not her videos are going to connect with people, because as long as it would have helped
Mm.
out her previous self, it's going to help out those same people and they're automatically going to be attracted
Mhm.
to it.
Mhm. Mhm. This is a key thing. So I think one of the main things for people to realize is being in a place to where they recognize where they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, you overcome certain things and we don't connect the dots, so to speak, with how we used to be and where we are now,
Yeah.
which kind of leaves that space to where they miss that niche that they could serve. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
a big reason why is because, like, especially if people like start out either health coaching or different coaching, oftentimes they don't spend any time thinking about the person who's actually going to, work with them. I
Mm.
mean, I was working with a client. Um, how do I get people to get on the phone for consultation? How do I get more consultations? How do I get more clients? Oh, cool, man.
Right.
Well, what kind of people do you even want to work with? People who need help.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
is that like people in sales? Is that people in hospitality? Who exactly is that? I don't care. I just want to help people make money. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
well, that's probably why, you're not really making any money right now.
Mhm.
And it's
So true.
the basics.
Mhm. Now, so would you feel that sometimes there is a shift with kind of really understanding what your passion and mission is to kind of make that conversion as opposed to thinking about how big and being led by the monetary. Uh,
Mm. To be
you know what I
completely
mean?
honest, yeah, to be completely honest, depending on the person. So for example, right, there are a
Mhm.
lot of coaches who I hear this from all the time, and they go, um, I don't want to grow my business. I just want to help more people.
Mhm. Mhm.
And for me, that's I, it comes back to, I don't think those are two different things, because I mean, in order for you to truly help somebody, they have to have some kind of skin in the game. I can't tell you
Right.
how much information I've given away for free, like content, pro bono coaching, and the person, either doesn't take it, doesn't use the thing I gave them, doesn't use the scripts that I gave them, versus
Mhm.
someone who pays, X amount of dollars, depending on which program of mine they do, and the person is calling me, every single day saying, "Hey, did I do this right? Hey, hey, can I, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, cool. Now we're doing it, and you're helping more people. You're actually fully helping them because they have had to invest something into themselves, you know.
Mm. Mhm.
And it's like a switch turns on in their mind where it's like, okay, this is real.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I don't know if.
And I think, yeah, I think that is so true because I think really it comes to, we kind of, for people who I believe
Mm,
need coaching, they're in this space where they get an awareness, but there's still that element of the blame game,
mm,
not really understanding, where they are. Of course, we can embrace some things that are quote unquote politically correct to embrace. So,
mm,
it's very easy for me coming through depression to say, well, I had a lot of kids and
mm,
it's a lot maintaining a family. People can embrace that and understand that, and that's an excuse that I could not to make light of people that are going through that, but I'm saying that it is a way out, a scapegoat that a lot of people would allow me to use if I didn't want to challenge myself to move ahead.
mm,
So when you invest, you're kind of investing with the mindset of, this, I'm gonna prove them wrong because, I may want my money back, or I'm gonna see that nothing is really working.
mm,
So you actually do the work to kind of prove somebody wrong, and then when it transforms you, then it's kind of like a switch that gets flipped,
mm.
inadvertently.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting, right? I mean, for me, if someone, it really comes from like the energy that someone comes at it with. So if
Mhm.
someone wants a refund, or they want a guarantee, okay, cool, man, you can get a refund, you can have all the money back you want. But 6 months from
Mhm.
now, we're back in the same place. It's going to be either twice the price, or it might not be available
Mm.
to you in this situation. But I guess even going back to what you said about people using it as a scapegoat, and how you were able
Mhm.
to use it to kind of fuel um, what you're doing. I guess it comes back to t- getting the meaning out of what happens to you in life. Like you always talk about using
Mhm.
fear as fuel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. So true.
yeah.
And we have to be in a place to recognize that, everybody is not in a place sometimes to really learn the lessons from that journey,
Mm,
or be in a space to where, because it takes some deep work, to look at yourself in the mirror and really eliminate all the factors that you believe that you kind of hid behind,
mm,
when it came to things that you feel like you failed at,
yeah. Or time. That's the other thing. You can either work deep on yourself and kind
Mhm.
of do faster and move
Mhm.
faster. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So
mean,
true.
yeah. Times,
Mhm.
as much as people don't really like it, I didn't like it for a long time, but time really
Right.
allows you to kind of go faster.
Mhm. Now, so you brought up a good point in the beginning when you were saying that you had your first client and then she introduced you to another client. What tips would you give somebody who, we're in a place now where you may not be able to get organic leads, and so it's about getting those referrals and things like that. So what advice would you give somebody in their business to go about getting referrals and certain practices that you feel you had that allowed such a transition like that to take place?
Okay. There are a couple ways that you can do it. The first thing I would recommend, are they already getting results for their clients? Or
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, we could be any way you want to
okay.
tackle this.
If
Yeah.
if you're not really getting results or you just started working with a particular client, I would
Mhm.
immediately say, hey, post on your social media or post somewhere, hey, so and so just joined the program. If anybody else who
Mm.
is their friends want to come join it, then you do it because the person's still hype and is still excited, and they're gonna
Mm.
fight for you.
Mhm.
Because when someone pays money, oftentimes people in their lives are gonna be like, oh, that was wrong. You shouldn't have done that. So
Right.
to prove
Right.
themselves right, they're gonna be like, no, you should join this too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if
Mhm.
it's a new relationship, immediately go and tell all their friends that, hey, this person just joined. Like it depends. It depends. I'm talking to life coaches now. Psychotherapists can't do that because it's violating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking
HIPAA
specifically
and
for
all that.
life coaches.
Okay. Right.
Specifically for life coach. And in my case, I was talking to psychotherapists, so I was able to use that. So
Mhm.
psychotherapists, tune me out for a couple minutes. Life coaches, listen up. Um,
Okay.
if you are getting results for your clients, generally they're
Mhm.
going to be, shouting your praise anyway. One thing that's
Mhm.
really working great right now is testimonials in the form of text messages.
Mm.
So someone sends you a text, like I just sent someone a text the other day. I was like, hey, he's my personal trainer. Hey man, I was able to see some of my abs coming out. I haven't seen them in like 7 years. And he goes, hey, can I post
Mm.
that to my Facebook or my timeline? I was like, yeah,
Mm. Good.
yeah.
Mhm.
Those work because they're not solicited.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
not clean. Sometimes they're a little bit messy. Like you'll see like the person go, F yeah, just signed on another $5,000 client, or F yeah, I just helped out 20 more people, or F yeah, I just my video just
Mhm.
got like I one girl, her name is Cara. She's a relationship coach. She put out her
Mhm.
first video ever after like working with me for like I think we spent about a week and a half preparing her foundations as far as who she was going to talk to and what she was going to help them with. Her first video got
Mhm.
12,000 views on Facebook. Yeah,
Mm.
with 55
Mm.
friends.
Wow.
Yeah, she ended up
Awesome.
ended up getting 35,762 new views on her across her Facebook account in 1 month. Yeah,
Mm.
she never looked back. First week after that first video happened, she got 3 clients who are local to her, signed up with no hesitation on the phone. It's just like it's crazy. Like that's why when you
Mhm.
said if they have no way to get the organic stuff and they need referrals, that's why that question's a
Mhm.
little bit hard because I'm like organic if you do it right. Honestly,
Mhm.
that's a weakness for me as well. Outside of
Mhm.
posting testimonials, outside of getting my clients to have their friends come and say, hey, Bryce did this for me. Can you sign up with them? And they do. Outside of that, I don't really have
Mhm.
any like techniques for that. No.
Well, I think it also could be like the whole thing of the whole thing with the blue ocean versus the red
Yeah.
ocean. So the red ocean, we got a lot of competition. Everybody's doing the same thing. The blue ocean, you're finding that niche so small that you don't have any competition. So sometimes the whole thing of having the tunnel vision of knowing exactly who your audience is, and it could be the messaging. I mean, like for
Mhm.
example, I just organically put up to have a podcast,
Mhm.
have people join me as guests. And I have probably done about 30 um, interviews already, and it's only been 2 weeks,
Even 30 in
right?
2 weeks. Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm like, booking up. People are really, now they're just coming to me, because it's a platform for them to, just share. And I guess it's the whole thing too, I think, of listening to what's going on around you and creating a solution for that.
I want to talk to you about that after we get done recording. Something I found out with those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, I like that thing about really knowing, I think it goes back to knowing who it is you're speaking to
Mm,
and what it is they need and really stepping up and saying, hey, providing whatever way that you feel you can be a solution in that capacity is one of the things.
and you know,
So,
niching down. There's a lot of different ways you can niche down, right? So for example, how I do it currently is I work by basically what their title is, whether they're a life coach or whether they're a psychotherapist. I was
mhm,
talking to a coach and I was like, you work with consultants and coaches, but what type of coaches? Like life coaches, business coaches, executive, et cetera, et cetera. He goes, oh, no, no, no,
mhm,
no, that's wrong, man. That's not who I work with. I was like, well, that's what your thing says. He goes, no, no, no. My target market is anyone who wants to make a lot of money really quickly.
mm,
So it was like, oh wow, that is a niche, right? So, but you talk
mhm,
about blue oceans versus red oceans. If you understand who you're
mhm,
speaking to, you
right,
can blue oceans and red oceans, stop being as big of a factor. I mean, especially like if you're a life coach, right? And you're
mhm,
dealing with um consumers. We have
mhm,
300 million people in the United States. I think it's 370 million people in the United States. I mean, you can make a really good business with like 20 to 30 clients, in a year, you
right,
know. So
right,
yeah, yeah. So it's like,
mhm,
and everything is saturated online, but
mhm,
there's enough room
mhm.
for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, because if you know who your people
Yeah,
are, then you recognize everything that at one point used to be like a competitor. You recognize that it's not because there's something different
yeah,
about what it is that you bring. You know what you do for your clients and all
yeah,
that. So
and-
this is great stuff.
yeah.
Great stuff. So I really appreciate you sharing now. Do you have any books or podcasts or anything that you would recommend to the people? Because they got a lot of time on their hands.
If you guys want to learn some stuff, do you mind if I tell them to go join my LinkedIn, or follow me on
Oh,
LinkedIn?
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, because right now I prepared a very, very in-depth free training for people who are life coaches and psychotherapists. It gives them everything they
Mhm.
need to start taking steps forward, actually getting the most out of this time when people need your help the
Mhm.
most, and it's the best time to move forward. Uh, you
Mhm.
guys are gonna want to just type in my name, Bryce Tubbs. It's spelled Bryce space Tubbs. You can type that into LinkedIn
Mhm.
or Facebook or even Google. I have about like 350 YouTube videos, just
Mm.
step-by-step training for you guys to actually fill up your practices and help more people.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about you? What books are you reading right
Love it.
now?
Me, I'm reading The Tipping Point,
Hmm.
trying to make my way through it with Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
Um, I love this book, The Four Agreements. That was one that really was transformative with me
Mm,
for the past year. Um, Switch was good.
mm.
Um, and oh, Contagious. Have you read that one before? That's
I
another
think
good
I
one.
think I briefly like read it in the bookstore, but I don't think I've ever owned it or like gone in depth with it.
Yes, that book is just, I mean, I'm telling you, that's a good one because that really is, if you're a marketer, I'm telling you, it's just like a marketer's
What's it
Bible.
called? You
You
said
need to get
Switch?
that. It's called
Oh,
Contagious.
Contagious.
And so the concept is, let me get my little notes
Who's it
here.
by?
Um, it shoot, I can't even remember the person. It's an orange book that I do know. You know what? I'll look that up
Okay.
and give it to you. But the concept is knowing what it is that makes a product, service, or whatever
Mm,
contagious, where it kind of works for you. So it has six principles. So one of them is like social currency. So, like, it's like celebrities work on this. Everybody talks about what the celebrities are doing because it makes them feel like they're important to be able to share what's going on in the industry of whatever this person might be uh, social about, right?
mm,
The next thing is trigger. So, like, um, right now we have a pandemic. So now people are triggered to be concerned about health and their immune system and eating better and, gloves and masks. All these things are triggers based on something that's going on within the environment or industry. Um, the next thing is like the emotion. So, right now people are emotional. So you got social distancing. So some people might purchase guns because they're afraid of people being too close or scarcity.
Whoa.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm just
Oh, guys,
using
was
that
like,
as an
whoa, that's
example.
crazy. Not calling
Then
someone
you
crazy,
have,
but
oh yeah, but just people suck because if somebody's in a scarcity mindset, they might be, maybe they're getting an alarm system or
yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Because of the emotion behind it. Another one is like the public, um, things that are done in the public that kind of promote behavior. So, people are buying gloves. So now everybody's buying gloves. Or the thing about the toilet paper, right?
Mhm.
Everybody was afraid. Now you can't find any. Um, Another thing is the practical value. So if people can't find a mask, you might see people on social media coming up with mask substitutes. Maybe bandanas are going to be a hot seller because people don't have a mask, but they're going to do something else in order to compensate for that, right?
Mhm.
And then the last one is stories. So
Mm.
during this time, stories are another thing to where, just like you said, people want to look successful or feel successful. So depending on the story that is told can kind of walk somebody or lead them to a purchase that you may want them to make.
Mhm.
Very good book. I'm telling you, that was good. I had to
Okay.
keep those notes so I don't forget. Yeah.
I should download it today. Yeah, just bought
Yes.
two other books yesterday, so yeah.
Which one did you buy?
I bought Riveted by Jim Davies. It's a similar to
Mhm.
that. It's like the science of why, we do what we do.
Mhm.
Um, Other one was Influence by I think it's Robert Cialdini. That
Okay.
one's I'm a little bit annoyed with Barnes and Nobles because they're delaying the order. But that's a
Mhm.
different story. Yeah, I've been reading. I
Mhm.
actually read a simpler one. It's a kind of a self-help slash mental one called "It's All in Your Head" by this rapper named Russ, Russ.
Mhm.
I got it for my younger brother. It's really
Mhm.
about like how really about how to stay positive and keep moving forward, no matter what
Mhm.
things look like on the outside.
Mhm.
You know.
That's so. I mean, that's all what fear is about. I tell people all the time, fear. I could be afraid of flying in an airplane, but looking at me on the outside, nobody would say that. You know what I mean? The fear doesn't become real until I speak it. So if I never spoke it, nobody would know, and I wouldn't necessarily act on it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's when we bring those things that are in our head into reality, and then we change our behavior based on something we thought about
Mm-hmm.
rather than something that may not even be true.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. Well, I really appreciate your time, Bryce. Thank you so much, and look forward to collaborating with you again. I'm going to link our video to the podcast. And any final words that you want to share with anybody?
No, if you're a psychotherapist and
Mm-hmm.
are struggling to fill up your private practice with clients who pay out of pocket, so not insurance clients,
Mm-hmm.
talking about private pay clients, I recommend you send me a message on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds
I really
good.
appreciate you.
You are so welcome, and we'll be in touch. Okay.
Okay.
What a great interview on being able to find the right people. Loved a lot of the nuggets that were shared. I really enjoyed the mindset that we can get referrals. Just how we talk to people, knowing what we provide, what problem we solve, can make it so easy to build your business. So I hope you guys were taking great notes. Really excited about this
opportunity to share this type of insight that really um, gives you a clear picture of how to build your business with the right building blocks. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this message. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, please feel free to email me at info@LachelleAtkins.com. You can also reach out to me through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and my YouTube channel. So again, I want to thank you all for listening. If something you heard resonates with you, share it with a friend. Also, do a review, whatever it takes to get the word out so that other people can hear this information and improve and be better versions of themselves in their business and personal life. So thanks again for listening.